I do have a question for you, Blythe. Why does it say it's a bakery?
Because she bakes up the best of alcohol.
Because I was a Blythe baker.
Oh, there you go. Look at that bakery. I like it. It's not baker, but it's bakery. You know, it's bakery. It's like bakery.
Oh God. The real, yeah, because the real question is that I don't know. Levi gave it to me and he really wanted it there, so you know I like Levi.
I can't argue that one.
There you go.
But yeah, I am. I guess you could say I bake alcohol daily. I don't doesn't make very much.
There you go.
But,
You get baked on alcohol. Maybe that's
I think you're. I don't know if I was saying.
Or maybe you get baked on the cookies.
Well, you know, to be fair, I don't have any cookies because I don't really have.
You see, it's actually bakery.
To this ain't a damn bakery.
It's actually.
No, I make cookies.
Well, I know. I don't know. Is it not bakery? Because if you come in here and look, there is a lot of chocolates and stuff here on the counter.
Wait, what?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, well.
So that's. I think that's why
Okay.
they
All
gave
right.
it to
Fair
me.
enough. Okay, so
So
it's a bakery.
I do bake
It should
things,
also be in a quality
be fair.
distillery.
You see, it's maybe bakery to disguise the fact that she has all of.
No, they dug me here because I needed a place to quickly.
I could never, like, look at this. Food decor for $1. I could never have this in my house. I would just always be hungry.
But then you just eat food.
I mean, you don't understand what I mean by always hungry. Like, I would eat food, and then while the food is in my mouth, I've been looking at this table going like, oh, lordy, that looks so good.
But then you can never eat it.
You just get a
You can only look at it.
That just sounds like good business to me. I mean, I am not.
I guess. I guess.
Have you seen her bread?
Not that I've charged you,
No,
but
I have not.
you know, someone.
Oh, look at this
Wouldn't eat
business.
that.
Look at this business. Why would you?
They
Oh no, I think
all
that's
are making fun of the bread. That's just
No,
how
I
bread
think-
looks here.
no, that's like them cinnamon rolls.
That's
cream
like
cheese on the
mold.
top. You ain't never had that? No, that's not mold, son. Smell it.
It's mold.
It doesn't smell like mold.
Mold doesn't know how to
It
smell.
makes Dry will pass out.
Dryles just passes out because he has problems.
Oh, this
Can I
He
is
explain
didn't pass
that?
out being a bailiff.
Yeah.
He did. That's
There
He
you
did
go.
do that. That was
There.
You know
the
what
that.
though? That was the
Go.
smartest move in the courtroom.
I think
that
it
day.
was, you know.
Boy, he saved himself a lot of trouble.
He did by passing out.
That could have passed out as a witness.
Maybe
Well,
she has bakery to disguise the fact that she has the alcohol. You know, it's undercover.
Oh, there you go. Like one of them there.
Well,
Like
I mean,
secret
like,
where you get together.
alright.
Hey,
Where would I
one of
put
them
it?
bootleg
A
Speak
kids.
easy.
giant sign.
It's
If I
speak
uploaded
easy.
it, I want to put like a giant sign that says like cheapest alcohol in the county. But like, where would I put that?
Along the top. and
Maybe
the
like
middle,
right here.
All around the
Maybe like
outside.
right here next to Rain Company. On the way, and then
Oh, there you
cheapest
go.
alcohol.
Rain at the company.
I don't think cheapest is what you want. Like most affordable, maybe, because cheap makes it sound like it ain't good, but it is good.
You could
Least
put
expensive.
it. You could put it on the saloon wall
Expensive.
here.
Blythe's
Yeah, I could-
economically priced.
economically,
Let me tell you,
economically
I have-
priced alcohol.
I have half a large barrel of moonshine, and I have more than
Lord.
half a large barrel of whiskey at this point.
Do you just make alcohol 24/7? Is this
Best
what you do?
bang for your buck.
Well,
I can see her advert already. Well, just like me, my prices are small.
Oh, that's good. That's
That
actually
is
good.
great.
That's good.
That is beautiful.
go.
Just like me, my prices are
Yeah,
small.
yeah, don't encourage him.
That was a good one.
Exactly.
I'm bullied. I feel personally attacked.
Big whiskey flavor for a small Blythe price.
Hmm,
There you go. See.
I feel attacked.
Well, I mean, I don't know how you're feeling bad. Like Dent is tiny to me too.
Everybody is tiny to
Fair
you. Let's
enough.
be real here.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, seriously. Let me tell you, the hat doesn't quite fit right. I got a clear view of the top of your head. I hate to
Trust me, I know.
Okay.
Oh
Where
no!
we going, Bucky?
It's just slightly too small.
Yeah, let's make fun of more people.
I could put that hat on my head, and all of my mohawk would fit underneath it, and you would never see a bit of my scalp. But you try to squeeze that over your regular style haircut, and like I can see hairs coming out the middle of the hat.
I want to see you. Can you put on this hat? I want to see you with this hat.
Sure, sure.
Let me make sure I have all the jugs. Alright.
Look at that. It does fit perfectly.
I kind of look like that. Oh, who's that fella? That fake Russian fella that was making trouble last time we was all here.
The fake Russian.
That guy, Brad Shovsky. Didn't he have a big fella with a hat like this?
I don't know Brad Shosky.
He was a fresh house. Who are you talking about?
So there was a fella, and it's like he was making up his name, right? I don't remember what his first name was, but his last name, he was like, yes, my name is Daniel. I'm just saying Daniel. I don't remember what he said. Daniel Brad Shovsky. Like that. Right?
Also, he was making up the name as he went.
Right, exactly. And he gave somebody else a fake name outside of Juniper. He was making trouble during one of the trials. And then when he gave that other fella a fake name, I went over. It was JJ, and I'm like, JJ, this fella's name is Daniel Bradshaw-ski. Don't let him tell you that other fake name. And then he laughed. And later, when them two ladies, I think it was Odella and Marge, he was giving them shit, and he's like, "Sir, please shut your damn mouth." And he's like, "Sir, I'll have you know I am a lady." And I said, "Oh, you a lady?"
Oh my goodness.
Lady named Daniel Bradshaw-ski? And he looked like me in this hat. Like, there wasn't nothing lady about the fella. He just messing with people.
Oh my goodness, I would have liked to see that one.
What the hell?
Yep. At first I thought he was one of the horsemen because he was pretending to be Russian. But then one of them other fellas come by and is like, "No, that fella don't talk like that. He talked like me." And the fella was an Irishman. He's like, "He talked like me like 5 minutes before he come into town." I was like, "Okay, all right, Mr. Bradshaw-ski."
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes no damn sense.
Yep. Yep. But the good news is I only ever saw him once after that, and he never came back around. So that fella can cause some trouble somewhere else.
Mr. Bradchowski.
Probably.
Here's your
Probably
stylish
got
hat
killed
back.
by the horsemen. So people being all kinds of confused.
I don't understand how my head.
You may want to swap out that toothpick. I think I was chewing on it.
It's okay, I change it all the time.
Ew.
Yeah. I mean, he handed it to me with the hat. It just kind of goes with the look.
It does, it fits in, you know.
Yeah.
And you just took his toothpick. That's
He flipped it around.
The other side.
He used the other side.
I commit.
okay.
I commit to the bit. Okay, when I'm trying to dress up like somebody and they hand me a hat and a toothpick, you got to go the whole way. You can't just be like, "Okay, I'll put the hat on, but forget this toothpick."
But like, explain me this, right? Like, why can't he just take back his side of the toothpick?
Again.
I mean, I guess he could if he was paying close attention when I handed it back to him, but you know, I mean, it's a toothpick, so he could have just swapped it out.
Can I have the hat back?
Okay, so the actual reason I gave it to you, didn't I?
No.
I tried to give it to you. You know what? No, we're gonna bad box it. Where the hell is it?
Oh no, did you lose my hat?
Oh, nope, okay. It's in the special pocket somehow. There you go.
I know what you mean, that happens all the time.
Yep. Okay.
That is a lot of alcohol.
I don't think you understand how much alcohol we go through in a day.
You know, maybe I'm going to need to make order for alcohol for a wedding.
By we, she just means her and Dent. No.
No, me and Dent don't drink anymore. We used to.
I'm kidding.
That used to be a very valid, like, me and
She
Dent
got tired of me out
dry.
drinking her.
You did not out drink me.
I don't.
It's not hard to drink you under the table. You're already down there.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
gonna
Lordy.
fight
Oh,
you.
Oh,
Lord.
come on.
Wow.
That's war,
I'm
Dent.
sleeping on the couch.
That's it.
Where I live most of the time anyway. Always
What?
in trouble.
Yeah,
What?
physical.
Yeah, I wonder why.
I wonder why.
He has a short fuse.
Oh, Lord.
You know what?
Damn it, Dent.
Be careful, she might stab you with a rib.
Why don't you crouch down and say that to her face?
Standing water.
Standing water!
See what I did there?
I saw what you did there.
I don't want to stoop to her level.
Oh.
Oh,
You know what?
no.
I told her not to feel bad because to me Dent is tiny too.
Mm-hmm. It is true. I'm looking at
Yep.
like your shoulder.
Yep.
If I go right over her head. No, I can't do that. I can't.
This is Stefano too. I was telling him that the top of his hat is a mess.
Don't look at my hat, okay? Look,
Can't help it. It's right there in
Stop
front of
it.
me.
the top of my hat is for me to not know about, okay? It's nothing I can
The
control.
top of my head is for me to know. about.
Yes. He never
Listen,
wants to see the top
I
of his
can't
hat.
control it. Do you want to see it? Look.
No, I mean, it looks fine to me.
If you just take a green paintbrush to the top of your head, you're gonna be fine.
There's nothing I can do about it. So I don't talk about it.
It's fine.
I like his
It's
hat.
fine. It's a nice hat.
I wonder if I can
You're
actually.
making everybody feel real self-conscious tonight. How do you feel about that?
We'll
You're
see.
a terrible person.
Well, you're saying I'm tiny, Blythe's tiny. His hat's broken.
Yeah, well, see, this how I kind of reverse, like flip the tables, because now, like,
He
why I
didn't say
don't feel
anything about
bad,
me,
like,
so.
everybody, well, that's because you're the best. That's clear.
That's because you live with him. You're his wife.
You trained him well.
He doesn't have a choice.
clearly. I need to like.
Oh,
take
she
some
didn't have to
lessons.
train me. I come that way.
Oh, I see. Well, maybe I.
There, look, now you can't tell.
Oh, see, they perfect. I told you. I told you. That's brilliant right there. Look at that.
What?
He done fixed it. Look at his hat. It's perfect.
What? Okay.
Yep.
I mean, it was fine. Before.
Now,
No.
now it's perfect.
You
Now it's a
could,
one
you
of a
could,
kind.
you could see a little bit of poking out through the hat, you know. But
I
now,
mean,
now
it's-
not
I can't
anymore.
tell
If you
now.
look carefully.
Yep. Yep.
You have to look very carefully to see it.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
she's replaced
She
him.
got the dent.
That's it.
Oh, my
It's a
lord.
replaced dent.
Yeah.
Oh no!
It's replaced it. Sheriff of Keystone.
He's got a badge and everything.
It does have badge.
It does.
The shinier badge.
I wonder if they would allow you to have that dog as a
He's
bailiff
pretty
during the
cute.
trial.
It could probably do better than a few people I can name.
Right?
Hmm.
If someone gets out of a line, you know he's.
Did y'all read Robin Milford's article in the paper?
Wait, his article?
Nicholas.
No, so it's a 3-page paper.
You mean
and The
John's?
third page
I didn't get to
is
finish.
written
Oh,
by
I didn't get to
is
finish.
written by Robin, and it's literally a whole dissertation, 1 page justifying him yelling "You a stupid" out the window.
Oh my
That's
god,
a
hold on, I'm
paper?
seeing it now.
Yeah, oh, it's all about like the nobility of behind it and how he was the one to step forward to put
Alright,
an end to those
first of all,
troublemakers.
Lord, I will have to read that later.
Nicholas's papers just alone are like the dumbest fucking things I've ever read because he's just like
yep.
all he blames is like the law is terrible and they hurt homesteads by caring more about certain cases than not and shooting at bad men. And
What
they
even
should
is
let them go.
sensationalism?
Sensationalism, that's right. I mean, the thing is that like he's got a point in some cases, but if he'd make that point in like points instead of like 42 pages of like
Well, the
high-minded.
thing is that I would argue that like sometimes like he was like trying to say like some people get off crimes because of who their friends are, and other cases are like seem to be more important in the county because they're like a person that the county has a lot of friends and they care about, which I would agree, except for the fact that in the current cases that he's tried to argue this, it has not been true. He like tried to argue it
Right.
about me, and I'm like, nobody likes me at all. Like, a lot of people thought I was a bandit for a very long time, and like nobody even comes and like sees me most of the time when I'm injured. So like it's not like I'm some like person that I've seen with other people with like friends that come like flooding in, and then like in the case of Cass, like nobody really cared. Like there's like one person in the entire county who probably cared that Cass was found guilty, which would probably be Sadie. So like besides that, like I just don't I don't know. I don't agree with his points at all because in the past, yeah, maybe, but now no. And like he argued that like if a person who was found guilty is trying to escape, the law should not shoot at them because, you know, then the people there are the ones that suffer. And I'm like, well, you accept a risk when you go to a trial that there's potentially, you know, jailbreaks and firefights and things like that.
Well,
Like,
see,
there's always the risk.
exactly that is the reason for why I stood where I stood. There was a little ledge like the one here, like this ledge, off to the side of the courthouse, and this is where I stood while it was happening, and then everything happened, and so what I do was I just lie down, and then everybody ran over me, and people were shooting over me, and I just laid down and wait.
But the thing is that I told him when you go to a trial, you expect those kind of things. And if you stick around, especially, like, I have never seen a trial just start getting violent, like, automatically, like a flip of a switch. There's always build up, and you can tell people are acting out. And, like, if you stick around after that, like, I entirely think that that is on you. You're putting your life at risk.
Well, I mean, I have
Like,
to,
that
you
is
know, I am a
not-
doctor.
No, I'm not. I understand that. But I'm saying just in general, his, like, argument to me was like, well, you know, the law hurts all the homesteads because these people get taken to court and then they get angry and go rob people. And I'm like, well, that's not the law's fault if they committed the crimes and they had to arrest them. Like, what do you mean? And that was like his argument. It was like, yeah,
I'm so
well,
mad the
should
law's
just...
harassing me. I'm gonna go commit armed robbery.
Yeah, he's like, they should just leave the people alone. And I'm like, you basically want nobody to make arrests ever because you think in your eyes that
Abolish
that
the law.
causes more crime. Yeah, exactly.
If somebody does not want to be sentenced to death, you just let them walk away. That's it. And that way, you know, only the most honorable folks will ever be hung.
Or sentence them to community service and apology letters.
Yes.
Well, and that's like his biggest thing is that like he's like people who live in homesteads, not towns, are less important, and they're the ones who suffer. And then there's towns that aren't as important, and they suffer too. And I'm like, that's not true.
Everybody
like,
suffers.
Well, you can look at me. I live in a town, and he is like arguing that Keystone is like one of the more like cared about towns. I mean, you don't even want to know how many times I've been shot, and like.
Yep.
Yeah, in this town. I mean, too. Right?
Yeah, that's true. Like right in the absolutely.
Exactly. I mean, in my own home, from what I understand. So like.
Yep.
You know, this whole business started because of a shooting that happened right in the town.
Viper, thank you for the follow. Look at my beautiful face.
It's not people are suffering. Like he is in his mind that other people are suffering because the law was to arrest people and like hang them. I'm just like, I don't really, I just don't understand how you get to that point. The law arrests people because they committed a crime. Yeah, well maybe because, but.
He's like, please stop making the bad men mad, essentially, is what that article said in like 5 pages.
Right. No, that's exactly what if you wanted to summarize it, he's like, don't arrest the bad men because they just get angrier and then they shoot people. But like, you can't let them running rampant around the county doing bad things.
That's half the problem. They started shooting people. That's why we went after them.
And then they just shoot more people.
Well, yeah.
Right, it's not like
well,
we just come up on somebody like, oh, are you bad? Let's arrest you for just in general.
And then at
Like,
that
they
moment,
did something
they
first,
become
right?
bad and shoot people.
Exactly. They did something first. How hard is it to go through your day without shooting somebody, you know?
Well, for some people, real
That's
hard.
it. I guess.
Thank you, Judge.
I mean, it is not a guess. For some people, apparently, it's real hard.
Yeah, true. But you know what? You know what's the perfect solution to that? Let's start handing guns to teenagers. I think that's going to be a great idea.
We're going young, ill-judged.
Start them while they're young.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially some of them that I've heard that got it.
I mean, Hawk Tillman, for one, that was a terrible move.
Well, who trained him, Boots?
Boots.
Exactly.
Boots Henry.
Certifying
You could probably
Henry as a
find one.
firearms instructor was a terrible move.
Yeah, who did that? Was he linked to Glacier Falls?
Yes.
It had to be Trent back when.
Yeah, but I would assume when Trent left that Lincoln would, you know, that anything that would be like null and void because Lincoln would have to say.
Well, that was
I don't know that that's a thing.
way
I mean,
before,
I don't think
though.
they did any of that.
That was before Trent
Well,
left.
he got it before Trent left. I was just saying because like the sheriff picks their 1 to 2 instructors, so like as Lincoln came in, he would have to say like these are my instructors.
You see how many I have.
Yeah, it's you.
I don't have an instructor.
Yeah, it's you. You are the instructor. Not all sheriffs are gunsmiths, though. Edmund's a decent choice, though, but I think that I think he's just real nice. He would never turn anybody, like, he probably would have certified Hawk.
I just wouldn't mind like actual firearm instruction in that case. Hell, half the law at that trial could use some actual firearm instruction.
Oh,
Well, the law in the county in general could use it, but as I've learned, apparently it's the same with the judges, now that I've kind of turned to the other side, so.
Yep. Well, that fella had no business, like, no business being in a courtroom.
Well, I left him a note, and I said, if you're thinking about keeping your position, it was nothing personal, and perhaps we could meet up and we could, I could give you some tips.
that's the thing,
Some training.
you don't need anything to be a justice of the peace, right? It's just
That's about
Well,
the
you were
nicest
supposed
way to put that. If you are thinking about keeping your position,
learn how to do it properly.
AKA you should not have this job, but if you're desperate to have it, please learn.
Yeah, please.
Well, I thought it was a nice note and a nice gesture. Yeah, if you're thinking about keeping your position, I am in Keystone, and I would be more than happy to give you some tips and go over some things with you. Is what I told him, and then I signed my name.
You don't want to be incompetent.
Well,
I think the last
I thought
the
it
last
was-
thing you want to do is have a mistrial because of judicial incompetence.
Exactly.
well, this is what happened, and it was real
I mean,
bad.
hell, I went to one of them kid trials, and that's more organized than the stuff that happened in that courtroom.
I don't, honestly, what I think, it is a requirement actually now that you pass your bar exam, although there is no, official registration like there is with independent judges. I don't think that he probably passed his exam, and I think that he was thrown, so from what I understand, they only made Robin the sheriff because they said they needed one, so I assume he only became the justice because they also needed one, and it became a case that they just wanted a town, which is fine, but, if that is the case, it is very easy to reach out and say, I'm not very confident in my abilities, I would like to learn, because I am sure anybody in the county would have sat down and taught him anything he needed to do. If he was going into this trial and he was like, I don't know what to do when I get there, somebody would have sat him down and coached him through it for his first trial, rather than just going in there and winging it.
Right.
It's funny too, because I'm the one that went to Rosewood trying to find him to get him to go, to be the justice in that situation. We get the trial scheduled, and when I come back here, he's already over here, and they getting all that stuff scheduled. And at no point did he say okay, just FYI, I've never done anything like this before in my life. I've never even read a story about a trial to tell.
Right. Yeah. I
Never
mean,
been to one, never.
even before I studied and took my exam, I had been to so many trials. I know the general procedure and how things kind of went back and forth. The thing is that it was so preventable if people just reach out, and there have been justices in the past who have taurned down taking a case because I don't feel confident in my ability, which obviously that is bad and should never be the case. But I appreciate the honesty and
Right, at least it's forward, yeah.
Yep.
right, which is why
Just avoid
I
the
did
situation
my-
like
Kinda
that.
went through that.
Oh, yeah, and that was fine. But like I said, I am more than happy to sit down and discuss things and explain things and teach him. But if he is going to keep the position, please let somebody help you. But if not, I don't know. Then I guess whoever they pick, hopefully they are a better choice.
Oh yeah, mutation.
But yeah, that was just real bad. It was just not.
And now the only problem, and no offense to any of the men standing here, but I don't know if his pride would allow him to do that. I don't know. That seems to be a man thing. I don't know.
Well, that's why I left it.
I'll be the first one to say I don't know what the hell I'm doing in this situation.
I agree.
I mean, at this point, I think he's kind of backed into a corner where his pride might not let him step down, which is why I left him that note, because I could see him just buckling down and being like, I'm not stepping down, but like I hope at the very least, if it is not to be, he acknowledges, you know, through my note that somebody out there will help.
It also
him,
might
you
not
know,
help that
because,
his wife is the mayor of the town.
well,
I'll tell you
I mean,
what, when Wyatt Montgomery was over there and they made him the Justice of the Peace in Fox Pass, he came to me specifically and was like, okay, I'm in over my depth. I don't know what this job entails. I don't know what to do. And I steered him to like every judge and justice I knew. Here's this fella, here's this lady, this is where they live, this is when they awake. Recommend this one, I recommend that one. So
right,
he
and
went around, made his round.
that is the way to do it, and I think a lot of justices just kind of get thrown into the position just because nobody else really wants it, because it is a hard job, and you need to know. It's like, you know, if you don't know what you're doing, it becomes very clear quickly, and then you just kind of look real dumb. So I think that's why a lot of people don't really want it, and they just hope that they don't get called upon.
Right, they just feel in a position, right? Like, oh, I'm gonna be Justice of the Peace, and hopefully nothing ever happens.
I mean, yeah, hell, look at me. I thought it was temporary, and I was like, in my mind, I'm like, I'm only going to be justice because we need a justice, even though I am qualified and I've passed my exam and registered. But I was like, this is not what I want to do because there's a lot of stress involved. And no.
And a day later, you declaring the first successful mistrial in the history of the county.
Right. Well,
Wait, that was the first
like,
successful mistrial ever?
Correct.
Yep, sure was.
Yep.
What the fuck? Wow, did not know that.
It's
But
fitting
in my-
that be for the worst trial in county history.
Yeah. Right.
That one
But
I
in
wouldn't
my
be surprised
mind,
about.
I didn't even want it. I was like, I don't want to be the justice. I'm not going to be it. It's not what I had interest in. And like, I like to go after people and catch them and bring them in, and that is what I prefer. And then eventually I made the decision, well, I'm just going to stay as the justice because we still haven't found one, and a lot of people have been encouraging me to stay in the position, like other judges, and so I did. And then I had to call, like literally the next day, I had to call the mistrial. So. But I get it. Like, if you are not prepared, it's probably even scarier. Because, like, when I offered, I had already passed my exam. I had already registered. I would have been a judge regardless. I just didn't want the official position of it. But,
Yep. I get it. I still feel out of my depth sometimes. I mean, I've been a lawman longer than most of the folk in the county, if not one of the oldest serving ones, and I still fall behind and just do what the sheriff says
Bucky.
again because I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Bucky for justice.
yeah, I mean, I think, and that is kind of like you said, you admit when you're confused. Like, I am the same way. I'm not gonna lie, I've never actually overseen a trial. I think I could do a very decent job, but could somebody do better? Probably, who's done it multiple times. I mean, there's like a nerves things to it, you know? But, I mean, I just wish that he would, and I hope he's not upset about it, because, like, the worst part about
He's
it
probably
was
catching what the
I
fuck.
felt his own wife kind of threw him to the wolves after that. Like, she left him at Juniper and came up here with all the other judges and badges and was hanging out with them and, like, putting him down and, like, agreeing that it was, like, one of the worst trials. And I'm like,
that poor fella.
that is your husband.
Oh, that's
like,
terrible.
what?
Ay,
I
miseria.
felt so bad. I was like, why are you up here? What are you doing? That is your husband. And she was like agreeing with me. Like, somebody made a comment. Like, that was the worst trial I've ever seen. And I was like, yeah, I agree. It was pretty bad. And she's like, oh yeah, like that was a mistake. It was terrible. It has to be the worst trial. And I'm like, that's your husband. Why are you
That
up
is,
here?
wow.
She should at least been with him going like, listen, everybody knows that's a bad trial. We're going to get past this together. You know, that
Well,
kind of
that's exactly what I
Right.
said earlier to Dryos. I said, like, if Dent made the biggest fuck up in the county ever, like, what I would be is with him. I wouldn't lie to him. I'd be like, yeah, it's pretty bad, but we can, recover from this. We can, figure things out. We can make it work. We can use this as a learning experience. I still love you regardless, and it's all gonna be okay. And like, no, she was up here, and I was
That's when
just
I
like,
break down and
oh,
cry.
shit.
you go.
Sure, if you wanted to cry, I'd hold you and let you cry. Like, I just felt like that was real cold. I was like, oh,
It's great to
damn.
see that.
Like, no.
I think part of that she's just trying to save face for her town. You know, she knows that
Right,
she didn't.
but
that, like,
it was a real bad day for Rosewood in general, and I don't think that saved face. Like, your justice made a very, like, it just fucked up the trial. Not So not only did their sheriff, you know, the article came out that he was apparently hurling insults, but he also told a kid that he wanted to touch his butt,
Oh.
which people were freaking out about at the trials, that his badge should be taken.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, it wasn't really saving face, because in my eyes, when I saw her up here doing that, I was like, that's real bad. Like, you're saving more face going home and being with your husband and doing damage
Rosewood's in
control
deep right now.
later, like, because that was not damage control, that just made me look like that's real cold.
Yep.
Well, and
Yep.
she appointed him to the position anyway, right? So
Oh,
Yep.
she must have
And
appointed
that's
them
on her.
both.
Yep, that's on her.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're saying it was real bad and that he wasn't suited for it. Why did you make him your justice then?
Right.
Like, I know
Right.
he's your
if
husband,
you
but
weren't confident that he could do the job, why
See, that's
did
the
you find
same
someone
thing.
else to do the job?
They got Abigail over there as a deputy, and yet they make Robin Milford the sheriff. Like over there in Hawthorne Grove, they got, you know, Marceline as a deputy, but they made Floyd the sheriff. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't get that at all. Like,
always
you got
hasn't
two
had her. She's not perfect. She was running around with vigilantes during the whole Alameda thing, and she was trying to do vigilante justice and to try to get them killed, and almost got people shot for it.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
oh, what that I slept through that whole business.
I don't even know what they're talking about.
Right,
They-
yeah,
when
no,
them,
so.
when them bandits tried to take over the bank. Well, I guess they did take over the bank.
What?
Yeah,
When
she
did that
was a
happen?
deputy leading a group of civilians to try to taunt and attack the slim people down there.
That was back when Alameda was trying to buy up the county. Do you remember any of that? Was you around?
I
you wasn't
was
around.
not
That's before
around.
you was around. Yeah, that's before you was
Oh,
around.
that
yeah,
was
so
before Stefano came.
they're like-
Yep.
I guess they was bandits pretended to be bankers, or bankers that were also bandits, or something like that. And anyway, they bought up or shot up or stole up half the county, and then a whole mess of people went crazy, and like, you know, I guess
There
they
was
like,
a
you know,
massacre. Like they,
Yeah.
so to give
I
you an example,
understood
there
you.
were like maybe like 6 people that were that had taken over the bank, and I think we sent like close to like 30 or 40 people, and over half of them got shot.
40.
So we had to, yeah, we had
39,
to turn.
I think it was.
We had to turn the entire saloon into a hospital, and me and Lexa were joking earlier in the day that there was no way that we would need all of the beds in there, because there was over 20 beds and we were short beds. That's how many people were shot,
I
and we
am
were just
sorry.
dragging bodies up here. It was terrible. And this
And-
was not the first time. This was like the 3rd or 4th wave of people trying to go down there and attack Juniper. So,
yeah. And talking to
The
June
one-
and whatnot, most of the injuries was friendly fire related.
Oh my
Folks
goodness.
Alexa told me
accidentally
she
shoot
watched a
motherfuckers.
guy just go like this. 2 people on a roof, and a guy just spun real quick. And just went like that and just shot one of their own people. Like just right in the
What?
head.
Why?
it was literally the worst thing I've ever seen in the county. So, but yeah, she
Big plan was
I would not.
say this is the way in. Had one group come this group came from this way. Group came from like this way. They were all just like shooting each
And they
other.
were all shooting in the same direction at one another.
Yeah. But yeah,
Not
no,
one
she,
person, not one person wrote in there and was like, "Hey, we got 40 people out here, so you know, y'all better surrender and such."
Yeah, no
Like,
interest. I was actually,
No, they
I
just
was
went in
around
and-
for that.
guns
Stefano
blazing.
wasn't.
But yeah, no, she tried to lead as a deputy.
the
She tried to lead
Alameda
a group of just like
bullshit.
civilians into
Oh,
there
okay.
by herself to taunt and fight them. So I would not say she
Yeah,
has
so
exactly
that I
perfect
didn't-
track record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she got a better track record than, you know, Robin.
Well, up until now, no, because she had that and he had nothing on him. But like, yeah, he was
Now
yelling
is.
insults and saying that he wanted to touch a kid's butt. Which I mean, like, you can figure out which one yourself is worse.
Oh, what?
He gave his homestead to the
Oh,
child.
well, yeah,
on
but
the
that was
first day
creepy.
that
Oh
he
my
met her.
goodness.
That was
Yes.
creepy.
And-
That was creepy, but can you
Yeah.
argue
Full
that
of
it was
hair.
wrong?
Can you argue
I
the
mean,
amount of
last thing
human
you wanna
hair
do
that he
is
found
give
and
a
the
fella
basement
like
that he had?
Authority. Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
the human
Exactly. Now
hair.
that fella's got a badge.
He had the basement, he had human
Jail.
hair, he had the keys for the door to check up on Sonny.
Listen,
Yeah.
I'm not saying it is okay. I'm just saying, like, nothing was ever proven there. But, like, based off
Yeah,
of things
yeah.
we have proven, which is worse, I mean, without the kid
Yeah.
thing, yelling insults versus, like, trying to get a bunch of people murdered, I mean, I would lean
guess,
one way
yeah.
over the other, but, like, the
Yeah.
touching a kid's butt is real freaking weird. So.
Yeah. I think he meant it as a joke, but I think inside the fella's mind, like it sounded a lot safer than it did.
Just take a
And
guess,
he just don't-
Eleanor.
Yeah.
Is it Robin?
Yes.
No.
So it's funny because like it wasn't nothing to do with the kids at first. It was that Arthur fella, and when people was getting frisked, he was up on the roof yelling like, "Oh, are they touching butts down there? I don't want my butt touched." You know, yelling back and forth. And this little girl comes up on the steps, and another kid who's on the roof is like, "Be careful, they touching butts." And then Robin goes like, "I'll touch your butt if you want me to." Some business like that. The whole damn town was like, "What?" What? And then we all yelling like, "That's a kid, Robin. That's a kid."
Oh.
Yeah,
No.
I think he knew it was a kid is the problem.
Yeah.
here.
Oh well. I mean, he feigned ignorance at the time, and we just kind of let that go. You know, he's like, "Oh, I didn't know. That's not what I meant." I'm like, yeah, he didn't mean that. Let's just we're moving on. Moving on.
To be fair, the last time around,
Yeah.
I happened.
Yeah.
I had a picture of him and Abby, and I went into the house to put up, and his entire house is just lit by candles. You can barely see 2 feet in front of you.
That was just strange. He just strange.
But the worst thing I ever.
He's a sheriff.
He's sheriff.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The worst thing that he ever said is that I was alone in town one time, and I guess he was running around, and I was in the kitchen.
I remember
and I had
this.
the window open, and he goes like, "Hello, is anybody here? I am not a bandit. I am a sheriff. Let me in." And I'm like, no, like in his voice, I'm just like, no, you sound exactly like a creepy bandit. Like you don't run around
Open the
going,
window, and he's
I
gonna
am
have,
not
like,
a
clown face
bandit.
paint
I am
on
a
and holding
sheriff. Like
human
that's
skull or
exactly what I
something.
Let's
yell
not,
as a bandit. Like I am not a bandit. I am a sheriff.
Let's not
You
poke
can
at the
trust
voice,
me. Let
please.
me in, little girl. Like,
I actually don't
no,
think it's an
go
act that he
away.
puts on.
Who was that fella that used to ride with the banshees?
Jason Pella.
But
no,
yeah.
no, the crazy one. I think they went all crazy.
Was
Yeah,
it
yeah,
Kevin?
the one with the laugh. No, the one with the
Legato.
laugh.
That fella
Yeah,
was creepy.
Legato.
Oh, I just realized I need to make it
He
home.
was-